When the war ended, people believed the worst chapter of human history had closed. They were wrong. World War II did not end with a clean line between past and future. It ended like a wound that refused to stop bleeding. Across Europe and Asia, silence replaced gunfire. But it was not peaceful silence. It was the kind that follows trauma when even breathing feels loud. In ruined cities, survivors walked through streets they no longer recognized. Familiar corners were gone. Homes were piles of brick and memory. People searched not for belongings, but for proof that their previous lives had existed at all. A door frame, a photograph, a name scratched into a wall. In Germany, defeat tasted bitter and heavy. The nation that had promised a 1,000-year empire barely had enough food for a month. Former soldiers hid their uniforms, unsure whether they should feel shame, guilt, or loss. Many felt all three at once. Children scavenged among ruins, while adults avoided questions they could not answer. How did this happen? No one had the courage to respond honestly. The truth was too large. Across Eastern Europe, liberation arrived carrying new chains. Soviet tanks had crushed Nazi forces, but they did not leave behind freedom. Governments were replaced quietly. Elections were staged. Fear learned a new language. The war against fascism ended, but another invisible war began. One fought with surveillance, silence, and obedience. People learned that victory did not always mean choice. In Berlin, the city stood like a corpse, pulled in opposite directions. Streets were divided. Families were separated by lines drawn not by geography, but by ideology. What had once been the heart of Europe became a warning sign for the future, a city trapped between two visions of the world that no longer trusted each other. Across the ocean, the United States emerged powerful but uneasy. It had won the war, but at a cost it could not yet measure. The atomic bomb had ended the conflict, but it had also changed the meaning of power forever. For the first time, humanity knew it possessed the ability to erase itself completely. That knowledge never left. In Japan, survivors walked through cities turned to shadows. Hiroshima and Nagasaki were not simply destroyed. They were transformed into symbols. People who survived the blast lived with invisible wounds. Skin healed. Minds did not. Children were born into a world that feared the sky. War had rewritten the rules of existence. In courtrooms, the world tried to impose order on chaos. Trials were held. Crimes were named. Evidence was shown. The phrase, "crimes against humanity," entered human language for the first time. It was an admission that something new and terrible had occurred, something that could not be explained by politics alone. Justice was attempted, but justice could not bring back the dead. Millions of displaced people wandered across borders that no longer felt real. Refugee camps became temporary cities, identities blurred. Nations struggled to absorb the broken pieces of humanity left behind. Everyone wanted to move forward, but no one knew how. The war had not only destroyed buildings, it had destroyed certainty. People no longer believed progress was automatic. They no longer believed civilization naturally moved upward. World War II proved that educated societies could commit unimaginable cruelty, that technology could amplify hatred, and that obedience could be more dangerous than rebellion. This realization haunted the post-war world. New institutions were built with hope trembling in their foundations. The United Nations promised dialogue over destruction. Human rights were written into law as if words could protect the future. Treaties were signed with shaking hands. Leaders spoke of cooperation while quietly preparing for the next conflict, because fear had become permanent. The Cold War did not begin with a declaration. It began with suspicion, with glances across borders, with weapons built but not used, with children trained to hide under desks, with cities planned around fallout shelters. Peace existed, but it was armed. Former soldiers tried to live normal lives. Some succeeded, many did not. Nightmares followed them home. Loud noises sent them back to battlefields. They spoke less, drank more, and aged faster than their years allowed. The war had ended, but it had claimed them anyway. Survivors of camps rebuilt lives with extraordinary strength. Some told their stories, others carried silence like armor. Their existence alone challenged the world to remember what happens when hate is normalized and humanity is ranked. Memory became a responsibility, yet time, as always, tried to soften the past. New generations grew up without seeing ruins, without smelling smoke, without hearing screams. History books condensed suffering into paragraphs. Names became numbers. Warnings faded into lessons that felt distant. And that was the final danger. World War II did not end because humanity became wiser. It ended because humanity was exhausted. The forces that caused it, fear, humiliation, blind loyalty, and the hunger for power, did not disappear. They went quiet. They waited, just as they had after the First World War. The world rebuilt itself with caution and hope, but also with denial. People wanted to believe it could never happen again. That belief itself was fragile. Because history does not repeat itself exactly. It returns wearing new faces, speaking new languages, using new tools, but driven by the same old emotions. World War II left humanity with a choice: to remember honestly or to forget comfortably. The ruins were cleared, cities rose again, economies recovered. But beneath the surface of modern life, the war remained, embedded in borders, alliances, fears, and memories passed down like inheritance. The greatest story of World War II is not only how it was fought, it is how it changed the human mind. And the most important question it left behind was not about victory or defeat, but whether the world would recognize the warning signs next time, or once again learn fear only after everything was already burning.